So what's the best way to start being a multiplier? Well, like, what do you recommend someone who said, okay, I get it, I'm an accidental administrator, I need to change, and they come to you open and willing to learn? What do you recommend them to?
Well, there's probably there's a multiplier practice that I think is like an antecedent to the rest of them. It's sort of at the beginning of the path. It's just making a simple shift out of telling and shift into asking. Instead of giving answers, ask questions. Instead of jumping to conclusions, start an inquiry process. And, one way to do that is to take what I call the extreme question challenge, which is it's not a permanent way of working. It's a temporary challenge. It's to go into, maybe you pick one or two meetings and you go into that and say, in this meeting, I'm going to ask only questions, no statements, no directives, no opinions, no validations, no like, oh yeah, I agree. That's great. Wonderful. Just questions. And it's hard. It's really hard. But I found with myself and other people who have taken this challenge, it really starts to change and rewire your thinking as a leader. That's a practice that will very much put you on this path to being more of a multiplier. There is also kind of, I don't want to say an easier way, but a bit of a shortcut. And that is to just talk so openly about your accidental diminisher tendencies that people stop you from having a diminishing effect.
But they tell you, hey, you're having a diminishing effect now, or the way they react to you, or what happens when you openly talk about it?
So let's talk about, so here are some of the accidental diminisher tendencies. I'm going to rattle them off in hoping that as people are listening, they might think, oh, that one's me. So let's see, idea fountain, always on, rescuer, pace setter, the protector, keeping people from difficult things, the perfectionist, the optimist, the strategist. So these are some of the things. So like, let's say if people know that I have rescuer tendencies, I tend to be quick to help people who are struggling. And I do it because I'm big-hearted. I love and care about people. If everyone knows about that, it gives them permission to say, I've got this. And then problem is solved. Like people are pushing back gently against accidental diminishing. Let's say I have protector tendencies that, I tend to like do the hard things and shield the people on my team from the difficulty so they can focus on their work. Like when a hard conversation comes up or a difficult client, it gives someone the opportunity to say, you know what, I know this one's going to be miserable. Why don't you let me take it? Like I'm never going to learn to stand on my own here unless I go and deal with that. And then it's like, okay, yeah, let's go do that. And so you don't have to, in some ways, reinvent yourself as a leader. You just have to make it safe for people to say, no, let me do this. Or last one, let's say you've got perfectionist tendencies.
Yep.
What it allows me to do is if you're my boss, Daniel, and you've got perfectionist tendencies, and maybe you're starting to tweak this, it gives me the chance to say, Daniel, is this one that has to be perfect? Or like, at what level does this job need to be done? Like, okay, it just needs to be error-free, but it doesn't need to be formatted perfectly. Great. You know what? This thing is error-free, formatting, it's not my best work, but it's good for now. And you go, yeah, okay, this is good. So it allows people to figure out like what needs to be perfect and what needs to be just good enough. Because not everything needs to be perfect.
Yeah. And you have to learn how to be like that.